nauunlahan?
What up, what up, what up, what is up, what is up, sports fans, what is up, Georgia sports fans, what is up, everyone? It's your boy, ACS. This is Georgia Sports Central from IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. It's your boy. I've got a good show today. Gonna give my thoughts. Probably pick the Super Bowl, I guess, since it's right around the corner. Give my thoughts on that other blockbuster, ridiculously surprising trade that happened last weekend in the NBA, of course. And also, I'm gonna give you a Georgia sports news, man. We're gonna talk Falcons, talk Hawks, who are still on the struggle bus just a bit, and a little bit of Falcons offseason stuff coming up just a bit. But until then, let's take a quick break, and I'll be back with some Atlanta United news.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there,
there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
What is up, everyone? What is up? What is up? Hope everybody's having a great week thus far. Your boy is feeling much better than I have the past couple weeks. Thank you very much. But anyway, man, exciting week, right? For sports, probably the biggest sports weekend, like out of all the sports. I guess depending on what sports you love the most. For me, the Super Bowl is massively bigger than anything because it's just this one single event that happens, not the World Cup or anything like that, where it's just like several different games. It's one. I think it is the most massive event. I'll give my thoughts and I will give you who I think will win this game later on in the show when I get to talking about some NFL football. And again, like I said, the ridiculously, massively surprising trade that I woke up to Sunday morning within the NBA, I will talk about that, give my thoughts on that as well, because I think that needs to be talked about as much as possible. What the Lakers and Mavericks pulled off was absolutely insane. Just on the level of nobody knew what the hell was about to happen. So they were able to keep that. In the world of sports, one thing I'll say this real quick. The world of sports where I feel like you know about stuff like this. A trade of this magnitude couldn't go under the radar, right? The Lakers and the Mavs were like, yo, we beg to differ, bruh. Like, yo, we got something here. We're gonna keep it on the wraps and knock everybody's socks off early on a Sunday morning or late on a Saturday night, depending on whenever you found that news. I would say that if you found this news out Saturday night, you probably did not believe said news until Sunday morning when a lot of other people had sort of reacted to that news as well. So anyway, like I said, I'll talk about the trade a little bit when I get to talk about some basketball. But start us off with some United, man. Another week, another signing for the Atlanta United, right? Atlanta United signs Emmanuel Latte-Lot for MLS record of money, right? So we talk about Atlanta United have signed Middlesbrough forward Emmanuel Latte-Lot. The club announced on Tuesday, and what sources have told ESPN is an MLS record deal. Latte-Lot, who scored 29 goals in 67 appearances for the English second-tier side in the past 2 seasons, arrives for a reported $22 million plus add-ons, surpassing what FC Cincinnati acquired Kevin Dinky for $16.2 million last November. The Ivory Coast striker becomes Atlanta's second major signing of the winter after it brought midfielder Miguel Almiron back to the club from Newcastle United. So that's some news, man. Got some another week, right? 2 weeks in a row, we've been able to talk about some signings for United, man. That's boding well for the team. Obviously, you know, they're trying to get back to that first season championship status from a few years ago. You know, when their first season in the MLS, they took that cup home. So maybe we might be looking at something like that again for the United. Let's see. You know, word from United, excuse me. We're excited to sign Latte-Lot and look forward to welcoming him to the club in the city of Atlanta. Sporting director Chris Henderson said he's a forward with excellent pace and good goal-scoring instincts. His ability to stretch the field will add another dimension to our attack. So there's that. Again, some more United news. It's cool to be able to talk about some kind of soccer stuff when it comes to Atlanta United, considering I hadn't always been the biggest soccer guy. So it's like, yo, I'm learning as I do this thing right here. But also Almiron on return to Atlanta, I feel at home. He's happy to be here. This came out just recently right after the show last week, so I didn't get a chance to talk about it. But Miguel Almiron says he feels like he's at home now that he's returning to Atlanta United. Almiron's $12.5 million move from Premier League side Newcastle United was officially announced on Thursday. He arrived to a hero's welcome at Hartsfield International Airport on Thursday night, signing autographs, taking pictures with fans, and listening to the fans chant Miggy, Miggy. So he's back with the United. So that's good. Again, that's good. Good. Team's not nice. New coach, couple new players back. Well, not one new player and one who returned to the team after a little bit of an absence. So again, United's first game of the season, February 22nd, later on this month, 7:30 p.m. playing against Montreal. So see how it goes, man. See how it goes. Obviously, wanting a great season for the United, obviously being from Georgia and being a fan of United. So there's that, man. It's always nice, again, to have some United news to start the show off with. Always great. Always. Let's jump into some football, man. Let's talk about some football here for a second as we go to the Falcons. A little bit of news there. Give me just a second to get pulled out. I'll talk about real quick the when it comes to the Super Bowl. What we got coming up this weekend, which I called it, that's the biggest sporting event of all time, basically. Like it annually, it is, in my personal opinion. So, I'm sure that's where everybody's attention is. Sporting fans, whether you're a football fan or not, is probably going to be on the televisions this weekend as we watch the Philadelphia Eagles take on the Kansas City Chiefs, as the Chiefs try to come up with a three-peat, as the Eagles try to thwart said three-peat. Look, man, it's going to be a game, man. Remember last time they played, Jalen Hurts had like this phenomenal game in the loss to the Chiefs. I know what the thing is out here. It's like, you don't pick against the Chiefs, right? Right. And the reason being is they giving you reasons to feel stupid about picking against them in a myriad of different ways over the past, like we're at right now with 3 Super Bowls in the past 4 seasons. They've won all kinds of ways, right? Overtimes, 13 seconds left on the clock, and then they get this ridiculous return and puts them. Just the ways that the Chiefs have won games the past 4 seasons it's kind of remarkable. Whether you love them or hate them, and trust me, I'm not the biggest Chiefs fan. I'll be honest with you. I mean, obviously, when you look at the landscape of sports, it's and I can't even say that they're like that lovable in my personal opinion. There's a lot of reasons people dislike them, and just winning is also going to be happening. I mean, if you looked at the success of the New England Patriots over 2 decades, they had a lot of haters, and it was how could you hate the team? They're really good. They really good coach. They got great players. They just know how to do it, right? And it's kind of hard for people to sort of accept greatness on that level, especially if it's not your team that's the greatness is coming from, right? So I don't know. That's neither here nor there when you talk about people's opinions on the Kansas City Chiefs. But I think when it comes to the Super Bowl, I think that this Saquon's the key, man. I think I'm gonna go out there on a limb, and again, I'm gonna be what I just said. People feel stupid when they pick against these guys for several different reasons, but I will say that I think Saquon's the key, man. I think he's going to be the difference in this game, and I see like a mid-4th quarter 70-yarder from that cat, right? All right, I could be totally wrong. As, my sports picks throughout this season have been wrong. Of all the teams I wanted to win shit this year, none of them won because, as you can see, Georgia sitting at home. It's things of that nature, right? Excuse me. But I think Saquon's the key, man. I'm gonna go out there on a limb. I think the Eagles pull this out, and I think Saquon is I think it's the key, man. As many times you thought that this dude, and then look, the Chiefs are going to pull out their usual shenanigans. I think there's going to be some things that are going to happen in that game, whether it be the officiating stuff or anything like that. That's guaranteed to happen. I think every call could be correct in this game, and people are going to find reasons. I mean, if you look at the history of them with calls from the officials, you can make up your own judgment when it comes to that, right? I do think that probably might have something to do with the game, but I think Saquon, man. I think close game, middle 4th quarter, Saquon busts one for about 72, and then they're able to hold him off, right? Easier said than done, yes. And is that me a little bit again saying like FO 3-peat Chiefs? Maybe. Who knows? I think the Eagles might get them though, man. I think it's time. I think it is. Also, if people think it's rigged, like if it is indeed some type of rigged thing where the NFL wants to, why would the NFL want the Chiefs to win a third one in a row? They can read the room. Trust me. Don't listen to them when they say we don't listen to what people say. Yes, you do. You totally listen to what people say. Think about the national anthem situation coming up this weekend. You totally care what people think. The NFL does. So if you do and you have your finger on any type of small pulse, you would realize that most of this country wants the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. So if it was fixed, why would they get the Chiefs to win? It's just nobody wants that situation except for Chiefs fans, right? So I don't know. If it was fixed, I feel like they would fix it the other way and make the Eagles win because that's what the public wants, right? I don't know. Anyway, you're going to be talking about legendary statuses and things of that nature after that game if the Chiefs are able to pull off a three-peat. And those conversations are going to happen. It's always going to be like that when it comes to sports and football and, winning championships consecutively like that because it hasn't been done that many times. In football, it's only been done two other times by the Packers before, it was called the Super Bowl and before the Lombardi Trophy and all of those things. It was called the NFL Championship, and they three-peated it twice. And now there's a chance for Kansas City to become the third team in the history of this sport to do that on a professional level. So we'll see what happens with that. But again, I think it's Eagles. I'm taking the Eagles. Give me 27-21, bro. The Eagles, right? That's my score. It's probably going to change about a dozen times before the game on Sunday. But anyway, it is what it is. But anyway, let's jump to Falcons news, man. Falcons news is the biggest thing I've seen this week, man. Falcons, Kirk Cousins says shoulder, elbow injuries affected play. Kirk Cousins' first season with the Atlanta Falcons did not go as planned for either party, and now the quarterback has finally shed some light on why things went sideways for him after a strong start. That would be an understatement. Obviously, we saw what happened. Kirk Cousins, for the earlier part of the season, played phenomenally. The Falcons were rolling, leading the division. Then they run into this rough stretch, a bunch of interceptions, a bunch of L's in a row, and Falcons end up missing the playoffs, and Falcons end up benching Kirk Cousins in favor of the rookie Michael Penix Jr. And he came in, played well, but this is Cousins. Cousins said Tuesday, NFL Network's Good Morning Football, that he took a hit during the team's Week 10 game against the Saints and hurt his right shoulder and elbow. Previously, he and the team had maintained that he was healthy. I, against the Saints, got hit pretty good in my right shoulder and my elbow, and from there, kind of dealing with that was something I was working through and just never really could get it to where I wanted, Cousins said. The Falcons lost that game, right, which started a 4-game losing streak that sent them from 6-3 to 6-7, right? 6-3 to 6-7, which I just mentioned. Cousins was benched in favor of Penix in Week 16 after a stretch with 9 picks and just 1 touchdown pass over 5 games. What I just said, right? Poor play, lots of picks, lots of losses. And so that resulted in us seeing Michael Penix Jr. sort of quarterback this team for the remaining games of the season. Cousins was listed as limited on the injury report for 1 day during Week 11 for a right shoulder and right elbow injury before the Falcons game on the road against the Denver Broncos. That day was just a walkthrough, though, and the injury report was an estimate. Cousins said after the Broncos game that it was just a clerical error and he was 100% healthy. Cousins tore his right Achilles in Week 8 of last season. He said the Achilles healed well, but his right ankle also never felt right in 2024. So now this is these things coming out now, right? So I wonder if it would have been if he wasn't injured and the ankle was feeling great coming back from the Achilles. Obviously, it's a funny situation now because what do you do now? Penix, obviously, they're not going to rebench Penix, right? I've heard people's thoughts on this. Cousins coming out and saying this now that he's hoping that the Falcons will release him or trade him or do something to get him off the book so he can play somewhere else, which is going to be very expensive considering how much his contract. Cousins signed a 4-year, $180 million contract with Atlanta last season. $90 million of it is guaranteed, right? So that's a lot, man. That's a lot. If the Falcons cut Cousins before the start of the 2025 league year, so that's March 12th, they would get hit with a $65 million in dead money charge coming from his fully guaranteed base salary of $27.5 million and $37.5 million in remaining proration per roster management system. If they do it with a post-June 1st designation, the dead money would spread over the 2025 and 2026 seasons, $40 million in 2025 and $25 million in 2026. So that's what the options are pretty much, man. A trade will be another option if Cousins gives the go-ahead. He has a no-trade clause. Cousins played well earlier this season and could be attractive to teams that believe he'll be better and healthier next season. If the Falcons traded Cousins, they would be on the hook for $37.5 million of remaining proration, while his fully guaranteed $27.5 million of base salary would transfer to his new team. That, my friends, is why that's difficult for a trade. Now, I don't know who wants to take that on, and considering how Kirk Cousins, the latter half of the season went for him. So there's also a likelihood that Atlanta will have to eat some of that $27.5 million in a deal. Cousins also has a $10 million roster bonus for 2026 that would become fully guaranteed on the 5th day of the 2025 league year. Okay, ESPN's Adam Schefter reported in December that the Falcons are likely to cut Cousins before that $10 million bonus kicks in, which Fontenot denied. Fontenot's remarks after the season made it seem like the Falcons were looking to get value back from Cousins in a trade. So that's just some stuff that's out there, Falcons fans, man. We'll have to see what happens, man. We'll have to see what happens. I'm no good to the Falcons. I'm no good to a team if I'm not feeling really good, Cousins said. And so that's really where my focus has been through January and February. Now that the season has wound down, I'm really taking all the time I can to get my body feeling really good, which means he's probably trying to get his body ready to play for somebody else, right? As you can see, the keys have been given directly to Kirk Cousins or to Michael Penix Jr. And so getting given to Kirk Cousins. So check out what the offseason grade, according to ESPN, what the offseason grade for the Atlanta Falcons is thus far. Let's see, 2024 record. They went 8-9, final FPI ranking 20, estimated 2025 cap space minus $114,000. 2025 first round draft pick, number 15. Okay, so biggest offseason priority obviously is to help with this defense. This is what would they do with quarterback Kirk Cousins? He was benched in week 16 in favor of rookie Michael Penix. Junior Cousins is owed a guaranteed $90 million, which could escalate to $100 million in March unless the Falcons release him before then. A trade is a possibility, though. I just talked about that. Under the radar offseason priority for the Falcons. Figure out the secondary beyond safety Jesse Bates III and cornerback A.J. Terrell, who both were phenomenal this season. Can't do it by yourself, though. The Falcons were tied for worst in opponent completion percentage, 69.8 going into week 18. Safeties Justin Simmons and Richie Grant and cornerbacks Michael Hughes and D. Alford are all free agents. So there it is, under the radar priority. Latest on whether they'll re-sign center Drew Dalman. I talked about him a couple episodes ago as far as his importance in this Falcons offense. Matthew Judon and Justin Simmons are notable defensive free agents, but Dalman is 26 and an important part of Atlanta's stout offensive line. They need that guy. That guy needs to be re-signed ASAP. Keeping that unit strong is key for Penix's development. Expect Atlanta to make efforts to re-sign Dalman, who will have a market. Draft outlook. Will the Falcons shock us again in round one? I do not see that happening. I need to find a clip. There's another show that I do where I talk about all football, the entire NFL, and we watch the draft together every year, sort of live stream that thing. And my reaction to the Penix draft was, I need to find that clip, and I'll play it for you guys on the show. It's pure shock. Like, what the F is going on here? What are we doing? So that was considering they had just signed Cousins and things of that nature. So it's more likely the front office will do what we expected them to do last season and focus on defense. Both cornerback and defensive end remain big-time needs, and the 2025 class is rich at both spots. So big prediction for the offseason, tight end Kyle Pitts is due $10.8 million on the final year of his deal. In 2025, can the Falcons get more for him in a trade than they would in a compensatory pick after he leaves in free agency? I think they could, as he has a rosier future on an offense that actually fits his skill set. Pitts will get dealt to the Bengals. Yeah, so their prediction is that they're going to trade Kyle Pitts to the Bengals. I don't know about all that. Maybe though. And again, I go over it one more time. I go over this, man. The Falcons, the next season, the home opponents, Panthers, Saints, Bucks. Obviously, then they got the Rams, Seahawks, Bills, Dolphins, and Commanders coming in there. And then as they go out, Panthers, Saints, Bucks again. And then Arizona Cardinals, 49ers, Patriots, Jets, Vikings, and Colts. So that's the Falcons next season stuff. Sort of gives everybody something to look forward to in that vein. I'm sure I'll be hitting up a couple of the games next season. Also, real quick before we move on from NFL news, Cooper Kupp, Myles Garrett, man, where these cats at next season, right? They obviously Hey man, I appreciate you. Appreciate you, man. Hey, you have a good Super Bowl week as well, man. I appreciate the love. Yeah, man. Again, biggest sports event of the year, and it's coming in just a few days. And again, real quick, Myles Garrett, Cooper Kupp, y'all, where they going? What? I don't see the Falcons getting either one of those guys, right? I just can't. There's too much, man. Too much you have to give up for Garrett. Garrett's going to take like a haul to grab, dude. Cooper Kupp, on the other hand, I think that they're kind of looking for something where, but Myles Garrett is a simple. Browns are going to want to sort of take somebody's cookies for that dude, right? Because Myles Garrett is that type of guy, generational Aaron Donald type of motherfucker. You know, right? You know what I'm saying? So I think it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot for sure for somebody to get Garrett, and I just don't see Falcons. That is just not really happening anyway. So real quick. Gonna take a real quick break, you guys. When we come back, we'll be talking about some Braves. Got a little bit of Braves news real quick before we jump to the University of Georgia, and some news there as well. But we shall return in just a second. You guys take it easy. We'll be right back.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, guys? If you're looking for the best coverage of all Northern California sports, including 49ers, Giants, Warriors, then check out the NorCal Sports Report with yours truly, Andre Fernandez, every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We have guests every single week talking 49ers, Giants, Warriors, Sharks, San Jose Earthquakes, and a whole lot more, plus 3C2A. You do not want to miss this show. So tune in Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Pacific Time to the NorCal Sports Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, what is good? What is good, everybody? Welcome back to Georgia Sports Central from IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's talk about some Braves, y'all. Let's talk about a little bit of Braves. Obviously, spring training is coming soon. End of this month, got a few games going on. I'll talk about those in just a second. It's not that much news really when it comes to the Braves. Like besides, like last week, obviously, we got Jurickson Profar, signed him from out west, and that's pretty much the biggest offseason signing for the Braves thus far. And looking at this real quick, we'll be giving a grade on that of a C as far as ESPN.com is concerned when they're talking about offseason grades thus far. And then they gave Braves a C, man. I would have to agree with that, considering, like I said, there hasn't been much movement with the Braves. And some interesting stuff here, though. Not only had the Atlanta Braves seen their top National League rivals all make major moves this season, you damn right we did. I mean, Blake Snell with the Dodgers, Sasaki, New York Mets, Juan Soto, all of these types of things. Philadelphia Phillies, Jesus Luzardo, Max Kepler. And then we had to watch Max Fried and Charlie Morton just bounce, right? Leave as free agents because Anthopoulos is just like, yo, you've reached you instead of you're not 22 anymore, you're 23. I can't re-sign you or give you any kind of millions for you. And that's his attitude. The players turn 29 years old and they're just too old. They can't, for some reason, I guess they can't play no more, but then they go to other teams and shine, like Freddie Freeman, right? You know what I mean? I mean, you think Freddie Freeman couldn't play no more the way he was just let go from the Braves, right? Out there clapping, right? Winning more rings. Shouts out to Freddie, man. Congratulations on getting that second ring, bro. Well deserved. You never catch any Freddie Freeman hate from your boy right here, man. Would love to see him back in the chop shop, in the chop house, but you know, it is what it is. But anyway, Freed went to the Yankees, Morton signed with the Orioles. It was becoming a little more critical that the Braves do something to improve their roster rather than simply rely on offense to bounce back from a dismal 2024 season. And Spencer Strider to return from Tommy John surgery at full force. So they've agreed to a deal with Jurickson Profar, who has to be viewed as one of the biggest wild cards on my offense this offseason. In 2023, Profar was one of the worst regulars in the majors, producing minus 1.3 B-WAR between 111 games with the Colorado Rockies and 14 with the San Diego Padres. Fangraphs actually ranked him last. And free agent at the end of that season, Profar went unsigned. He eventually returned to the Padres after spring training to started on a deal with a $1 million base salary. He then went out and had the best season of his career for San Diego, hitting 280, 380, and 459, starting the All-Star game and ranking 7th in the majors in on-base percentage. While he's had good plate discipline and above-average contact rates, Profar's batted ball metrics jumped to levels he had never approached before. His hard hit rate, balls above 95 miles per hour, had never been higher than 34% and soared to 44.4%. Putting him in the 71st percentile of all hitters. His average exit velocity increased from 86.5 to 91.1 miles per hour. So while the metrics generally suggest his 24 numbers were legit, that doesn't answer the question. Can he do it again? We hope so in Atlanta, right? We hope so. For the Padres, it's a major loss, particularly since Profar indicated at the end of the season that he'd like to return, telling reporters after the playoff loss to the Dodgers, I want to be here, this team. I think they have all the things, except he wanted to be a Brave since he was a child. And when you have that opportunity coming up and there's a team out there, I think personally, I think Profar will be a huge boost if he can get on base like he did last season. But I think the more likely scenario for the Braves to become better than last season is because Acuna returns and others like Harris and Matt Olson have better seasons. Albies has a better season. So I think we have it in us, man. I think the Braves, still would like to see more, more chasing of players or something. Get somebody else in here. But once everybody gets healthy and we get back our man Acuna and Albies, everybody can play better this season. Obviously, that's the easiest thing to say, right? I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be all right. Even though I would like to see more, just more picked up in general when it comes to some of the free agents that Georgia has very, very well documentedly not let's see. Let's move on to some Georgia, man. Talk about the Georgia a little bit. Got a little bit of news when it comes to the Bulldogs out here. Talk about some of these recruits we got and things of that nature. Let me finish getting some of this up here. Obviously, when we talk about sports, everything will be good news besides losses and things of that nature. We got a couple things. Obviously, Georgia wide receiver Kobe Young gets probation, fined, and assault case. Georgia wide receiver Kobe Young pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor charge of disorderly conduct on Wednesday in a criminal case related to his arrest on October 8th. That happened last season. The player's attorney, Young, will serve 12 months probation and pay a $500 fine and attend some intervention programs for family violence. Prosecutors dropped misdemeanor charges of battery and assault on an unborn child, according to Stevens. Young didn't play in the game for the Bulldogs last season as this thing sort of unfolded, and he was allowed to return to practice after some of the charges. A trial was scheduled June 2nd. It wasn't immediately clear how Young's resolution of the criminal charges would affect his ability to return to football in 2025. The woman involved in an altercation that led to Young's arrest and suspension retracted her statement to police and requested that the charges against him be dropped. According to an Athens Clark County police incident report obtained by ESPN, a 20-year-old woman who described herself as Young's ex-girlfriend told police that she went to his apartment on October 8th to discuss their relationship. Things kind of went sideways there. Not going to get into any of the details of what happened because obviously we see it's pretty much it said Young, who transferred to Georgia from Miami, had 11 catches for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns last season. Look forward to seeing the young man get the return back to the roster, man, and play a little bit of football. So we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, when you're look, man, when it comes to Georgia, it's gonna be it's gonna be as I look at all of the players from that team that are playing in the Super Bowl this weekend, which is insane. This team next season, I think we're looking at I think obviously I'm a Georgia fan, so I'm gonna say yes, Georgia's gonna be good, right? I think they're gonna try to get back to a little bit of dominance next season, man. We got a couple of the cats that we had to go on the road to face last season that are coming to Georgia, coming to our house to play. And I think the outlook is pretty bright. Like right now, 2024, 2025 schedule. Obviously, it's all the dates are to be determined, but Marshall, App State, Tennessee, Alabama, Kentucky, Auburn, Ole Miss, Florida, Mississippi State, Texas. What is that team? I don't know what that is. And then Georgia Tech right there at the end. Take a look at some of the recruits. Georgia, obviously some 5 stars in here. Elijah Griffin, defensive tackle, defensive end. Isaiah Gibson from Warner Robins at Savannah, Georgia Christian Preparatory School. Obviously, these kids are all highly recruited from other schools as well. They just happen to have signed with Georgia. 4 stars, we got outside linebacker Zayden Walker from Ellaville, Georgia. From Geneva, Illinois, Taylor, number 4 wide receiver, 4-star. Let's see, Juan Gaston, Atlanta, Georgia, offensive tackle, tight end, Elise Williams, Ethan Barber, both of those are 4 stars. Cortez Smith, Ryan Montgomery, QB, 4 stars from Findlay, Ohio. Valdosta, Georgia, Todd Robinson, athlete, right, 4 stars. So he's got a lot, man. Got a lot of talent coming in. Obviously, that's pretty much the MO for Georgia. It's been like that the past, I don't know, forever. When you're not losing players to the likes of like Alabama, Clemson, and other schools like that. There's a so yeah, I think that outlook's gonna be fine. I think Georgia will be absolutely fine next season, and I'm looking for a bounce back, man. National title type stuff. I think the squad is going to be good. I think the players who are returning that aren't moving on to the draft this year have unfinished business. You when you get recruited by Georgia during a time when they're winning national titles and stuff like that, and then when it's your turn on the stage and you don't exactly get to where the team has been, I think it's some of those players come back and say, "No, I got to win me a natty." For myself before I leave this place, right? If that's even in the cards. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, people are going to give the SEC some crap considering the Big Ten has been dominating. Let's take a look. Let's see where we sit with recruiting classes. Top 2025 college football recruiting class rankings in top 75 schools. Texas is number 1. Georgia coming in at number 2. What I tell you? Top offensive prospect, Taylor Banks. Wide receiver, top defensive prospect, I just told you about him, Elijah Griffin. The Bulldogs signed the number 1 class for the 2024 cycle and are working to line up a 9th straight top 3 class. Tight ends played a key role in their recent title runs, and they're reloading at the position in 2025. Georgia holds commitments from 2 top tight ends in the class. Ethan Barber, who I just mentioned, moves well and has good hands. Elias Williams has a 6'7" frame and could develop into a player in the mold of former Georgia tight end Darnell Washington, which I mentioned. The Pittsburgh Steelers are having fun with that guy. Bo Walker could give UGA another talented running back. He is a versatile playmaker who possesses good vision as a runner, but also has solid hand-eye coordination and can be a receiving target as well. Wide receiver Taylor Banks missed time as a junior with injury, but when healthy, he is an elusive route runner and is having a big senior season, okay? Having sent multiple defenders to the NFL over the last 3 drafts, the Dogs are continuing to work to keep that unit elite. Very difficult, again, as I mentioned. You lose, you could just see it on display this weekend. You'll see it on display for the Philadelphia Eagles. That's the kind of defensive players that have left Georgia in the past 3 or 4 years, right? So it's hard to reload, man. It's very hard to reload. And it's not the old school thing where the 3rd stringer on your bench is not a 5-star player. No, they no longer stay around for that. They go to other schools because they get paid for it. So in the number 3 recruiting class, the Oregon Ducks, number 4, Alabama, Ohio State at number 5, the Auburn Tigers at number 6. At number 7, got Michigan Wolverines, LSU Tigers at 8, number 9, Texas A&M, and Florida Gators round out the top 10 recruiting classes thus far, according to ESPN, when it comes to college football. So there you see that. Move on to some tech news, man. Got a little bit of tech news out here, man. A little bit of Georgia Tech. Obviously, let me get this up right quick. Talk about Georgia Tech, their 2025 schedule with all dates to be determined. Colorado, let's see, Clemson. I think Clemson, I think, is going to be Georgia Tech's first game of the season. Let me make sure. I think I had seen that somewhere as far as the first game of the, because Clemson is on their schedule, obviously. AC. Okay, here it is. January 28th, Georgia Tech's full 2025 schedule revealed. His Colorado, Gardner-Webb, Clemson, Temple, Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, Duke, Syracuse, NC State, Boston College, Pitt, and of course Georgia to end the season off with clean old-fashioned hate will be held on Friday night at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It was also announced during Monday's show that the regular season finale versus arch rival Georgia will be played on the Friday after Thanksgiving for the second straight year. So looking forward to that. Let's see. In addition to the ACC opener versus Clemson on September. Okay, so it's not the first game of the season, but it is their first ACC game of the season. As we see Colorado right there, they're going to be facing Dion and the boys. Some more news. Georgia Tech suffers brutal coaching loss, man, y'all. So nowhere around it. Brent Key, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets head football coach. He played for Georgia O'Leary Nines, having survived whatever you want to define the Jeff Collins era. Key has the Yellow Jackets ready to take over. However, they losing one of their best assets after only one season. Former Georgia Tech defensive coordinator Tyler Santucci leaves Atlanta after just 1 year to become the linebackers coach for the Ravens. Hey, look, same here, Georgia Tech. Hey, trust me, Georgia, we lost a powerhouse of an offensive coordinator to the Baltimore Ravens. So Ravens out here picking and choosing cats from Georgia, just taking them for their own desires up there in Baltimore. This is the first job in the NFL, having served under the likes of Key, Mike Elko, Jimbo Fisher, and Dave Clawson, and building out his coach's career. So Georgia Tech still had a stud offensive coordinator. Tyler Santucci is expected to be the new linebackers coach for the Ravens. So yeah, that's I mean, again, that and see how that bodes. I mean, of course, these guys going to have to be replaced. They hadn't replaced them yet. And I'm sure that'll be coming sooner rather than later as teams like to go ahead and get people in-house while stuff is going on, earlier in the offseason as opposed to waiting. You know what I'm saying? They need to get that stuff in place, need to get the new coach in place. So I see that coming. As far as ACC, right, 5-3 record in the conference, overall 7-6. Georgia Tech they were 6th in the ACC or 4th in the ACC right now, as of right now. So, yeah, a little bit of news, a little bit of tech news right there with the schedule and sort of the news on the coach. Always not good for that kind of stuff to happen, but it is what it is, man. We're gonna take a quick break. You are watching Georgia Sports Central on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
The roar of the crowd, the drama and pageantry, the adrenaline rush and decadence of the world of professional wrestling. Join yours truly, the SoCal Saint, for the best pro wrestling podcast going today, the IE Wrestling Show, exclusively on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Join us every Wednesday from 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, every Wednesday, the IE Wrestling Show. It's just too woo!
All right, y'all. Welcome back to Georgia Sports Central, IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. It's your boy ACS, and we got to this point in the show. We talk about the Hawks, man. Atlanta Hawks, obviously, up and down season. That 6-game losing streak that I was talking about last week reached 8 games, which is rather alarming considering how the season sort of started. It's been kind of up and down all season, but you expect some good things. Look, man, I think this is when it comes to Trae Young, right? All-star, I ain't gonna say all-star. My bad. I was just about to get snubbed all-star. When you're averaging the kind of numbers that he's averaging this season for a point guard, you make the all-star game. And you just do, right? And so Trae Young, I think, I think there's a lot of people that don't like Trae Young. And I think he could possibly, if he was not a player for the Atlanta Hawks, I might not even like him, right? So he's not the most likable player. And I think that with the Hawks not being a stellar team as I think that they could play to, a lot of injuries as of late. We'll talk about that in a second too. I think all of those combined is the reason why you don't see Trae Young in the All-Star game next week, right? I think that's going to be those two factors right there, I think, are the reason why he's not playing. Because I look, Trae Young, after being snubbed from the All-Star game, listen to these numbers: 27.7 points per game, 12 assists per game, leads the NBA, and 60% turnover stuff. Like trade. That's what he call it now. Now that instead of calling it snub, they're gonna call it trade, is what the new thing is. So yes, Hawks were on an 8-game losing streak before beating the Pistons. Obviously, you saw what happened. Trae Young with the step back, sort of buzzer beating 3-pointer to give the Hawks the lead with very little time left, and basically sealing that dub for them. And they sit at 23-27, man, third in the Southeast Division behind Miami and Orlando. And they're about to play San Antonio, right? They're playing them right now. Obviously, I'll see if I can get a good update on that score real quick. But first of all, as a big of a fan as I am of Allen Iverson's step over as he hit the shot on Tyronn Lue way back in the day for the Lakers Sixers in that finals. It was cool. Trae Young did it too. It was cool, but I'm not the biggest fan of the step over thing, right? Because at some point in time, you might have to answer that when again we played we played the Pistons again very soon. So we'll see what happens with that. And then Trae Young put it on his Instagram story and all that stuff. So it's cool. But obviously, and look, Trae Young might go scorched earth for the rest of the season. Snubbed. Not going to say that the Hawks cut, it's possible that we don't even make the playoffs, man. It's just we're way down there as far as all of that is concerned. And again, a lot of that is for injuries, right? So Daquan Plowden, day-to-day. The Hawks transferred Plowden from the G League. Clint Capella, out. Bogdan Bogdanovic, out. Jalen Johnson, out. Cody Zeller was out on January 25th. Kobe Buffkin, out. So a lot of injuries for the Hawks to some major players there, especially Capella and Bogdanovic, who haven't been playing as of late. So, and the record reflects that, right? The record reflects that. We don't have a strong enough the team it doesn't seem to be strong enough without some of those players to consistently win games in the NBA with them missing so much time, right? So yeah, that is what it is. I think when it comes to Atlanta, oh yeah, let me see if I can. Let's see if I can't catch the score of this game real quick. Sorry about the jumper. Yeah, right now getting clapped up. Scores: Spurs 42 to Atlanta 29. They're let's see what we're looking at. Who's scoring points? Let's see what the points are looking like. Let's see my scores. All right, I don't see no points. Where's the points at, man? Y'all are killing me right now. Well, let's see. 0 for 2 on there. Trae Young ain't shooting it. All right, so a little in-game update. 44-29 in second quarter in Atlanta right now. So home game for the Hawks against the Spurs. It's I don't know. We'll see what happens. Again, the Hawks, man, tough sledding, bro. Like they are 1-8 in their last 9 games, bro. Like it's not looking good. But again, like a lot of injuries. So let's see if things look up. Let's see if we can catch 2 dubs in a row. Let's see if we can catch up against these Spurs and finish this game out in the victory circle, right? Who knows? Maybe. It's not looking that good. So real quick, as I was telling you guys, last 2 games for the Hawks, 132-127 L to the Pacers, and obviously they won against the Pistons. Yeah, tough sledding for the Atlanta Hawks, man. Tough sledding for them boys, man. Let's see if we can pull this one out and get 2 dubs in a row. We hadn't done that in like this year, I don't think. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. So let's see if we can get back on the way. All right, so real quick before I bounce out of here, guys, I did want to give you guys my thoughts on the Luka trade, the for Anthony Davis that went down in the NBA late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Like I said at the beginning of the show, woke up, shocked the shit out of me, shocked everybody, and messaged my homeboy. Shouts out to V. He's from Cali. big time Lakers guy, Lake Show fan, Lakers gang, and he's excited, man. I mean, obviously, you got the Dallas Mavericks fans are sick to their stomachs. At some point in time, I think the information is going to come out as to what happened there, right? I mean, obviously, there's some stuff that's been said already. Maybe we all saw the video of the GM taking the beer away from Luka after making it to the finals last season. And they talk about his conditioning and all of these things. Man, who cares, man? Dude's out there dropping bombs on you, man. And so is AD, though. AD is led the Lakers in almost every category offensively this season. They traded him away too, man. So I don't think there's enough talk about Davis leaving the Lakers and going over there because of the injury trouble that he has. And he has been injured a lot since he's been there, missed a ton of games. And so I think that also went into the decision. But a talent like Luka, man, does this officially mean that Atlanta won that trade? Does this officially mean? Remember what happened? Trae Young and Luka. We had the fourth pick. The Dallas Mavericks we had the third pick. They had the fourth. I can't remember exactly what it was, but we traded with them to give them Luka Doncic for Trae Young on draft night, which it shocked the shit out of everybody considering what Luka has turned out to be. I bet if he played for the Hawks, he wouldn't have got traded. I bet if he's playing for the Hawks, he'd still be playing for them. So does that mean Atlanta won that trade now? Maybe not. And let's not forget, too, that contract, man, that Luka would have been up for had he stayed in Dallas. Just bought a house. Davis and AD had just bought a house in L.A. So, yeah. And the ability for them to keep this a secret is top-notch, y'all. Like, I have never seen that before in sports. Shout out to them because they knew the right people to tell and the right people to not to, because I'm telling you right now, there's some people out there, I guarantee you, they would have known. They'd be like, y'all going to pay me or I'm telling. Y'all going to pay me or I'm going to let this information slip, bro. Y'all ain't going to be able to catch these players off guard and none of this shit, right? And so I do think there's a little bit of disrespect there with the players being caught off guard, man. Something this massive, you got to tell these cats, man. You got to let these cats know. But that's, again, I think sooner or later the information is going to come out exactly what the rift was between the Mavericks and Luka, because you just don't do shit like this, right? You just don't do players like that or whatever, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. So, that's the show, you guys. I appreciate everybody out there watching. Like I said, hopefully these Hawks can string two together so we can get a 2-game winning streak going on. And real quick, if you guys want to find me anywhere, you can find me on X at 2279ACS_, on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Vero at 2279ACS, PlayStation Network if you like the game, ACS 1977. And on YouTube, just search for the ACS Universe or Instant Replay 706. And that's some of those places you can find me. Anyway, that's the show. Georgia Sports Central, you guys on IE Sports Radio. You guys have great rest of your evening. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Peace out.